Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and in this video we're going to be talking about when your ex acts interested and then disappears. That's kind of a tongue twister, when your ex acts interested. So this can be really frustrating for a lot of people, and understandably so. You know, you're connecting with your ex, you're bonding with them, everything seems like it's going really well, and then, you know, maybe the next day or later on that day or over the next week or whatever, they just seem to fall off of the radar. What happened? Is it something that you did? Is there something you can do about it? That is what we are talking about today, because of course, it would be really nice and really convenient if you had this nice, steady, linear progress towards getting the relationship that you want. But what I have found out from talking to a lot of people, and a little bit of personal experience as well too, is that the process of getting back together with your ex and saving your relationship is very rarely a linear path. It's actually a lot of ups and downs and twists and dramatic things that happen in human interactions. You know, at first I thought, well, hey, you know, maybe it was just me. Maybe I just had some sort of crazy experience. But nope, after talking to so many people, it is extremely common. And so what's going on here? Now, obviously, there is the possibility that they just had something come up in their life, some sort of personal emergency, some sort of career, job deadline, something like that, that could have caused them to pull back, some incredibly stressful sort of thing or incredibly emotionally taxing sort of thing that has absolutely nothing to do with you. That is, of course, a possibility, but that is not probably why you are here to talk about that. But we do have to mention that just so that we entertain all of that, because so many times people will think things like, oh, I must have said something wrong. I did something wrong. I somehow bungled this up. But that is not often the case. Many times, it's not necessarily even related to things that you did whatsoever. So just consider that. However, when it comes to actual things that do involve you, that's what we're talking about here. So the first thing is that your ex is probably confused. It might seem like they're playing mind games, you know, getting close to you, pulling back, leading you on, then withdrawing. And most of the time, it's not a mind game. Now, of course, could it be some sort of mind game? Yeah, it could be. Maybe they like you, but they heard on the internet or in a magazine or from a friend or something that you have to play hard to get. And so even though they are sort of warming up to you and getting emotionally drawn towards you, they feel like they need to pull back in order to keep you interested by doing this hot-cold thing. That is a possibility. And you're just going to have to, you know, look at your ex's personality. Do they have it in them to do this sort of thing? Are they maybe, you know, really insecure and looking for external things to do in order to, you know, perhaps keep you interested in them? Or maybe they might be manipulating you for other purposes as well too. Maybe it's not them trying to create some sort of great relationship with you. Maybe they're, I don't know, stringing you along for other purposes. Again, you have to check what you know about them and their personality, because I am just a guy on the internet. All of these other people are just people on the internet. What you want to do is you want to say, okay, I know my ex much better than anyone who, you know, is out there on the internet. You know, even if you work with a coach who, you know, may talk to you for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, they're probably not going to know your ex as well as you do. Someone who's been in a relationship with them for, you know, months, years, decades even. You know them much better than any of us do. So scan your understanding of their personality. Is it something that they have in them? If it is, maybe they are playing a mind game. But most likely they're probably just confused. That is to say, it's confusing trying to figure out how you and your ex fit into each other's lives. I'm sure you have been confused many times in this whole process, but what you may not recognize is that they are also confused as well too. They're also confused about what it's supposed to be like. You know, they feel this draw towards you on some level. Maybe they feel connected to you. Maybe they feel attracted to you. Maybe they made some sort of promise about how you'll always be friends with one another or something like that. But on the other hand, they, you know, maybe have negative emotions from your breakup or a lingering hurt or pain, or maybe they're just not even sure what's supposed to happen, you know, because all of their other breakups have ended horribly with a lot of, you know, contempt and bitterness. Or maybe they've seen too much TV or movies where, you know, someone's ex, their air quotes ex, is always this person that's worthy of such, hate and vitriol. Whereas, maybe the two of you didn't end things in that sort of way. Maybe you had this sort of like really amicable breakup and they're like, well, golly, what am I supposed to do now? I'm supposed to hate my ex, right? That's what everyone in society says, but you're not this terrible person. What am I supposed to do? So what we want to do is we want to look a little bit deeper through all of this. So your ex, they probably feel guilty to a certain degree about breaking up with you. Even if you broke up with them, they probably feel a certain degree of guilt as well too. They probably feel guilty for breaking up with you. Nobody wants to go out of their way to break up with someone else. Typically breakups involve things like hurt feelings, crying, feeling like you're taking away someone's dream of a relationship or something like that. Even a sense of guilt that, hey, I gave up on this relationship. Nobody wants to think of themselves as someone who goes out and hurts other people, causes them to cry, causes them pain, all of that sort of stuff. And so in order to live with themselves, your ex has to create a version of reality and you and the situation in their own mind that somehow justifies what they did when they broke up with you. And so what they're going to do is they're going to delete, distort, and generalize what happened in order to create something that they can be at peace with, something that they can live with. And this may not require a lot of creativity on their part, to be fair. I don't know your situation. I don't know if you really had it coming or if this was all just a big misunderstanding. But if you really had it coming and you weren't at your best in your relationship, then maybe they don't have to really delete, distort, and generalize too much to create this scenario where it's like, yeah, I really had no choice. I needed to break up with them. On the other hand, they may take little things that you did and blow them up into a big deal, like, oh, that one time you maybe told a white lie, oh, you're a chronic liar. Or that one time you said you were going to do something and you forgot or whatever, something came up. You're so unreliable, right? I can never trust you. And so what's happening here is they're creating a story about you, about your relationship, about everything that allows them to move forward believing that they did the right thing. And when you actually interact with them and have a great positive interaction, they're getting that version of you that they have in their mind, earned or imagined, that version of you in their mind is getting sort of scratched up. It's being tarnished a bit. And they're saying, okay, I thought I broke up with someone like this, but when we met up, when we interacted, when we talked, I actually got someone like that, someone who is really compassionate, understanding, caring, all of that stuff. And of course, they like this. They like the compassionate, caring, great positive version of you that they're seeing when the two of you are having these great interactions, when they're feeling interested. But they're a little bit confused. They're like, okay, wait, I thought you were this, but I saw that. What was that? Is that just who you are now? Is that you on your best behavior? Is that you using some sort of gimmick or stunt that you picked up somewhere? Can I trust this? Or should I trust this version of you that I have to hold on to in order to feel good about myself for breaking up? And so there's this sense of confusion. That's often why your ex pulls back after a positive interaction. We call this a positive pullback. And the important thing here is that what they saw, what they experienced when the two of you met up isn't what they were expecting. They were expecting this version that would sort of reinforce the reasons why they broke up with you. It would reinforce the reasons why, they believe that the two of you can't work things out, why your relationship is hopeless, why you'll never make it work or whatever. And then what they got was something else in a much more positive, great, wonderful sort of way. And so they're understandably confused about this. They may disappear on you for a lot of different reasons. They're trying to make sense about what happened. They're trying to stall or buy time so that they can say, well, what was that? I don't know. How do I feel? I was starting to think that, okay, breakups happen for a reason and we're never getting back together. But then we met up, we ran into each other somewhere serendipitously or, whatever happened. And you were really cool. Was I wrong in my assessment to break up with you? Was I wrong in my choice to break up with you? Was I wrong in who I thought you were? Or maybe that was you just putting on some sort of act. Maybe that was just you on a good day. Well, gee, what do I do? What if I'm wrong? Who should I trust? And so there's this sort of existential crisis that comes up. Many times people deal with this by vanishing, going off the radar. What they're probably thinking is like, okay, I need to think about this. Okay, I'm not sure what to do, so I'm going to do what most confused people do, which is to stall and delay and procrastinate on things. And so what you want to do in a situation like this, by the way, if you like this video and if you like the videos that we do, please help support this channel by giving this video a thumbs up. It does support us. Also leave a comment down below. All that stuff does help us with YouTube. So please go ahead and do that. But in these sort of situations, what you want to do is to use what we would call one-way spikes of doom. This is a dramatically named strategy, but basically, you know, if you've ever been to a parking garage, you know, certain parking garages, they have these like metal spikes that you can drive over in one direction and everything is totally okay. But if you go over those spikes in the wrong direction, they won't go down into the floor and they'll actually rip up your tires. And so what we want to do is we want to use a strategy kind of based on this mechanism where we're basically just getting curious, asking lots of questions, and allowing your ex to kind of go where they want to go emotionally, kind of getting them to reveal where they're at emotionally. We're kind of steering things a little bit, like saying like, oh, hey, like, do you really think that I'm this terrible person that you broke up with? If that, like, I don't want you to think of me that way. Is that really what you think? And then they're forced to say, you know, either yes, I do, or no, I don't. And then if they say, you know, no, I don't, then okay, great, awesome, you can have a conversation about it. But then if they say, yes, I do think you're that way, then you say, okay, it sounds like I'm not a good influence on you, and it sounds like we should probably just not be in contact anymore. Is that what you want? And then they have the opportunity to say, no, that's not what I want, or yes, it is what I want. Now I know this can sound really scary to say that, but as you are, you know, connecting with them and creating a good positive interaction, like we've talked about in some of our other videos, such as our advanced relational skills video, which I'll put a link to in a video card up there, you're actually developing what we call emotional leverage, and you're able to leverage the connection that you have. Because if you're connected emotionally, they're not going to want to just cut that and walk away. If you're connected emotionally, they're probably going to want to hold on to that. And so if you act, I mean, like, don't do this as like a desperation move when nothing else is working, but do this when you actually have an emotional connection. Like if the two of you are fighting and arguing, you're just like, hey, you never want to talk to me again? They'll be like, yep, goodbye. And then it's like, okay, you've kind of painted yourself into a corner. But if you are connected emotionally, having good interactions, and you do something like this, they're much more likely to say, actually, I do care about you. Actually, I'm really torn about this. Actually, I'm having a really hard time with this. And then once they start to admit this to themselves, they are able to actually have a conversation with you and really discuss some of their reservations, hesitations, concerns, etc. Now, if we do get to the point where just out of stubbornness or whatever, they say, nope, I don't want to contact you anymore. I don't want to do X, Y, Z with you anymore. I think whatever, then you have to give them the opportunity to feel that loss. You have to let the weight of that choice sink in with them, okay? And then, you know, make it easy for them to come back to you if they change their mind, if they feel that like, okay, I kind of painted myself into a corner here. We want to let them come back to you in a way that allows them to save face and to admit that they were wrong without feeling embarrassed, right? And so that's where building a golden bridge would come into play. But anyway, I know we're getting like way off track here, but basically if your ex acts interested and then disappears, it's because they're confused. It's because they don't understand exactly what they're dealing with, how the two of you are supposed to fit together, and they don't know what to believe and what is maybe inaccurate. Is what they're seeing with their own eyes when they're interacting with you the truth, or is that just you on a good day? Is what they believe about who they broke up with and what happened in the relationship accurate, or is that just a misunderstanding, a misconception about things? That's what they're really dealing with. So if you do want to learn more about all of this stuff and how to navigate through things like this and how to use things like one-way spikes and also golden bridges, you might want to check out our course called Effortless Connection. You can find information on that over at modernlove.life/EC. That's modernlove.life, not .com, but .life, modernlove.life/E as in effortless, C as in connection. See what I did there? It's a pretty easy URL to remember. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, once again, hit that thumbs up button. Please take care, and I will talk to you next time.